California, but now living in Freiburg, Germany. I got my start tinkering at the Exploratorium in San Francisco, but for the past 8 years, I've been working out of the studio called Wonderful Idea Co. And in this quick 15-minute session, we're going to try to get our hands on some materials, play and learn by doing and making. This session is inspired by my book that came out last year called The Tinkering Workshop. And we're going to take the same approach to the activity that we have in the book, thinking about a material, having an open-ended prompt, and then seeing some of the high ceilings that can come out of that exploration. So hopefully you had the chance to collect some of the materials and have a space for making and building with us. I'm going to switch my camera and we're going to show how you all can get started during this creative break. So the materials that you'll need to get together for this session is some books. Oops. Some books. So we have some large books and also a collection of smaller ones, favorites at our house. We're going to use some masking tape, scissors, and then scratch paper. So paper is going to be our material that we're going to be exploring and tinkering with today. And part of creativity is also working with the constraints. And so part of the challenge of this project today is finding something we could do in a short amount of time with the materials that hopefully everyone has right around them. So if you haven't already, you can take a minute and grab these materials, the paper, scissors, and tape, as well as some books or other things that we can use as a ramp. So to get started, what you're going to want to do is take a book and try to arrange your workspace so that there is a slope, something that's an incline that the materials can roll down. And we have a couple examples here. So like this is a little 2-wheel roller that's going to go down the ramp. I have just this little tube here, so we're going to see how that one works. Here has one with little arms. I can imagine that maybe this guy could start to get a little bit of a personality eventually. And then this one that is kind of a little ball, but I think I need to work on it a little bit more. So these are just a few examples, but what I'd like to encourage everyone to do now is just to start putting together some of these materials and seeing how you can make something roll down the ramp. So we'll have about 4 or 5 minutes to work and build together. Then we'll bring up a few special guests to share what they've all been working on. And then we will show a high ceiling connection, another way that this connect to the Scratch project. So I'm just going to be working here and building. I'll give a few time checks when we are nearing the end of the official time we have to work. But I would love it if everyone could just grab a space on the floor, a space on their desk, somewhere else in their room, to just start building and playing with some materials. If people have questions as we are making and building together, you can just enter those into the chat bar, and either I can see them or maybe the moderators will be able to also bring people in. If people have other materials that they're thinking about bringing into the project, I think that's all part of the tinkering experience. So it's really also works well if you have other things like colorful paper, toothpicks, metal pieces, anything else that you want to build into the project will totally work, and you can do that. As well as if you can't find these exact parts, that's totally okay. You can think about adding in a glue stick instead of tape, or cardboard instead of the paper. You could do a toilet paper tube and modify that as part of the project. So it's really all about exploring and testing things out. I see in the chat, master tinkerer and friend Colleen is saying, after you get something rolling, turning it into a game. I think this is really a great approach, in the sense that a lot of times these initial materials explorations, just testing out and playing with materials, they spark ideas about games, about characters, about stories you want to tell with the materials. I'm now constantly tinkering with my 3-year-old son here at home, and it's amazing to see how every tinkering project kind of immediately turns into a story or something that is related to an everyday material. So we'll have just about 1 more minute to be working and tinkering on the parts. I'm trying to, this one is starting to work. And I mean, I think even without characters, you start to see them have a little bit of a personality. Like, I feel that, this one is kind of reluctant to go, but then it finally makes its way over the hump. And right, I think just as I also see in the chat something that Miriam is saying, that like these projects where you're physically working with the materials, that is something that can connect to other parts of the curriculum, things that you're teaching, things that you're working on. And this type of hands-on experience makes the project so much more relevant and makes the students interested in wanting to know more. And hopefully that kind of process of trying something, getting an input or inspiration, testing out something else, going deeper. This is this creative learning cycle that Mitch and the team at Scratch is always talking about. Exactly. And Marin highlighted it as well in the chat. So hopefully you all got a chance to be trying to build something yourself. You can keep working with the materials, but in the spirit of the creative learning spiral, we wanted to invite a couple tinkering friends to come up onto the stage and just share what they have been working on over the past few minutes. So first, all the way from Japan, we have Ryoko here from the Tinkering Studio at the Exploratorium. And so Ryoko, thanks for joining us. And we'd love to see what you've been playing around with at this time.
Yeah. Hi, Ryan. Yeah, I'm usually in San Francisco, but today I'm connecting from Japan. My name is Ryoko. I'm a senior museum educator at the Tinkering Studio at San Francisco. At Exploratorium in San Francisco. So what I'm working on right now is I just made this small roller. It's just made of 2 strips of paper, and I made loops like this. And sorry, I'm gonna just show you my desktop. So I have today I have these like marbles on my table. So what I did was just trying to put these marbles inside of this like 2 loops. Oh, no, actually. So I put it like this. Do you hear? And then today I didn't have cardboard. So this is what I'm using for my slope. It's kind of like kickboard for swimming. But actually it works great because it has some kind of friction on surface. And I was just trying to see how it look, how it rolls. See? It's kind of very, I unexpected. So that's what I really like. Um, Trying to see if I change the size of the marble, like how does it behave? Oops. Does it roll? Oh, it doesn't roll. Ah, it didn't. So maybe I should experiment more. I was also trying to use some other materials like tin foil. Same idea. In the inside of the tin foil tube, I put these marbles and created some kind of like this. This is actually well-known kind of toys in Japan. I used to play when I was a child. It also moves very interesting way. I don't know. You can see. Oops.
Wow.
It looks like a creature. Oops. And
That's
like just doing like up and down with my um, slope. I like your idea having like books and then just fixed slope, but kind of like a seesaw slope. Oops. Ah, it's interesting.
That's great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so
Oh,
this is
thanks,
one of
Ryoko. It's so cool to see also getting inspired by toys and the things around you in the projects. And I know you all at the museum are working on this ramps and
yes,
rollers. So
this is a very big
we're
topic in a
so
tinkering studio
so we'll
within the
be sorry, Ryoko. No, just because we don't have so much time, but we'll be following you all
yeah,
at the Tinkering Studio and at the blog, and we'll see what you all have been working on. So thanks for staying up late, Ryoko, and
of
joining us.
course.
It's super cool to see what you've been
Yeah, of
experimenting with.
course. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ryoko. All right, and so now we're going to jump over to Boulder, Colorado, and we have Celeste Moreno, who is also going to share what she's been tinkering with during this creative break.
Thanks, Ryan. Hi, everybody. My name is Celeste, and my title is Creative Technologist. What that means is that I work in our maker spaces in the Boulder Public Library District, and I do Scratch with my learners of many ages in the libraries there. And something that I wanted to share really quickly with my rollers is that I think this is going to be great for getting people in that tinkering mindset before we do our creative coding together, because I like to encourage people to tinker with their code as well. And the first roller that I'm going to show you is this one. And what I like about this one, I'll turn you around and show you my desktop here, is that it made me wonder, what if we change the goals of the activity? What if our roller doesn't make it all the way down the ramp? What if it falls off halfway through? And what if you designed a roller that was actually meant to not make it all the way down the ramp? So I thought that was a really fun tweak or adjustment to the prompt. And then my other rollers that I wanted to show you, one of them is not a roller at all. So I started with a triangle, and look at that. It doesn't roll at all. It just kind of slides down the ramp here. But what I figured out is that if you start bending the sides of it, so if you start tinkering with the shape a little bit, then you can start turning it into something that maybe rolls, maybe doesn't roll. So just making little teeny adjustments to your very simple paper shapes, I think goes a long way in getting creative with very simple materials. So again, I think this is going to be a really fun way to encourage people to tinker, experiment, try new things before we do other things in the makerspace.
Yay. Thanks so much, Celeste. Those are amazing examples. And I love this idea to start with these physical materials as a way to build a tinkering mindset before jumping into more complex explorations. So I wish that we could see everyone's project. I can't bring everyone on screen, but I have made a Padlet page that we're going to throw into the chat link. And if you took a photo or video of what you've made, we'd love to see that as well. I'm having technical difficulties here, but I just wanted to show one last idea is this combination that somebody wrote in the chat of combining tinfoil rollers with makey and scratch triggered projects. And I just think that it can be a really interesting problem space to start thinking about how these physical tinkering explorations can lead to projects that involve Scratch and Octo Studio, Makey, and Microbit. So thanks so much for playing and tinkering together. I'm really excited to see you all at the rest of the conference, and have fun, everyone. Thanks to Celeste and Ryoko for joining. Thanks for everyone for building, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.